Hello, my name is Diana from Artfully Yours with Diana. I'm a legally blind artist, and today my guest is Paul from Paul's Blind Soup for the Soul. Thank you for being here, Paul.
Thank you, Diana. Diana, let me ask you something. We we're here talking about our disabilities, and this is a video that we're gonna just put out there to give people a sampler of what it's like to come on panel and discuss your disabilities, blindness or any other disability. We welcome. Um, the whole point of this channel, or my channel, is about empathy, and that's what it's geared towards. But I do other fun things. But uh, Diana and I joined together to create a monthly discussion on panel about blindness or any other disabilities, and people can join and onto panel or leave the panel whenever they want or whatever. It's just a lovely live chat for people to discuss about their disability, and educational, and advice, and people are looking for that. They're looking for empathy, not sympathy. Sympathy
Yeah.
is nice, empathy is much better. And this is something that I wanted to always uh, create on my channel. And I met Diana, and Diana is helping me out. So together, I'm co-hosting with her. So I guess we can get started. Diana, what was it? I understand that you're pretty much like me, where you had some good vision before you became legally blind. What was that like?
Yes, I had normal vision most of my life until until I was diagnosed in my early 40s, but actually it was age 35 when it started as like a mystery where they could not correct my vision to 20/20, but they didn't know why. And that just lasted for 5 years. That went on for 5 years where they didn't know why. And until I developed the symptom in my early 40s of a blind spot in my central vision. And then that's when they were able to diagnose me with an extremely rare retinal disease called cone dystrophy.
And how old were you there at that point where you noticed that you had a blind spot?
That was my early 40s.
Early 40s. So you pretty much went about 40 years with good vision before you started having problems.
Yeah, it started out really gradually because at 35 is when I could still drive, and I felt like I still had normal vision. They just kept telling me, well, we can't correct your vision to 20/20, but it was not a severe vision loss. It was it was very minimal, and I was still able to drive, and didn't notice that I had any vision loss.
So what are your struggles now with your vision now that you progressed? What is the vision like today?
Well, my doctor said, you will not, your vision. I'm grateful that this disease, cone dystrophy, does not lead to total blindness. And he said, your vision is bottomed out, and your vision should not get worse. So I was surprised that I went 1 year. I only have to go for annual checkups. And 1 year I went, and I was sitting in the chair, and across the room, there was 3 lines. And I said, I can't read those 3 lines of text. And they said, that's letter E, a big giant letter E. I'm like,
Oh
what?
my goodness.
Because before that, I could see S and L. I could see A, and I could see S and L, the first two, those top two. And then, so I couldn't believe so they had to start holding up fingers. And then I asked my doctor, so I thought my vision wasn't supposed to get worse. And his only answer was, well, let me ask you this. How does it impact your life? Has it impacted your life in some way? And like, well, actually, I hadn't noticed that vision loss. I hadn't noticed that my vision had gotten to like that. And I said, no, I just pretty much am doing the same things that I've always been doing with my living with my vision loss.
And that's how you see today.
Yes.
So
Oh,
you
yeah,
struggle with lighting
I haven't been to
content.
my eye doctor in like 2 years. I've been meaning to go this spring, but because of the pandemic, I couldn't make an appointment yet.
Yeah, I'm not. Yes, I'm having the same problem. So you're a teacher, or
I
was a teacher,
Oh,
an art
yes, I
teacher.
didn't let it
Now
stop
your
me.
passion is art.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I didn't let it
what's it
stop me
like
when I
to
was
do
diagnosed, I
art
kept
now that with your
sorry.
disability?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, what's it like for you to do the passion of art with your disability now?
Um, oh, the one thing that's, kind of a little bit troubling is that if I wanted I've been trying to learn, like, watercolor and certain, like, really realistic watercolor and realistic, acrylic painting. I've been taking some online classes, and I can do it if I'm, like, with my magnifying glass bent over the table 1 inch from my artwork, working like that the whole time, 1 inch from my art, and then play the iPad, like, what's the next step? Now what's the next step with my online class? What's the next step? What's the next step? And keep crouching over and I can't do that 2 days in a row. I can do that for hours and hours all day long. And then after that, the next day I have to take a rest because my shoulders and neck really hurt. And I love the results, but I'm kind of thinking like that's really not the best kind of art for me to do. Like I love results, like this how painting it is. So there's other kind
Yeah,
of art I can do without having to. I can create art without. I can create different kind of art. Like it's realistic enough, but it's not super realistic. But it's realistic enough or do abstract.
yes, yes. So that's a sample of what we're going to discuss on our co-host channel here of talking about having people on panel. Is the short, sweet example of how Diana adjusted and is an artist with her disability. You find ways. When there's a will, there's a way. Uh, in my situation, I was born with glaucoma. The left eye was basically legally blind at birth.
Mhm.
I lost total sight out of that eye when I was 8. However, in the right eye, it was functional all the way up to. Oh, I've had some problems in where I had 2 cornea
Oh,
transplants and
oh, I can't
glaucoma
turn on the.
surgeries, all that stuff. Um, in my 20s and 30s, 35, I had my first cornea transplant. Then
Ah,
I had one again at about 47. The cornea started failing. Um, the eye pressure just put a lot of stress on the eye, and I ended up having a cornea transplant. Um, so, but as a kid, I still was basically disabled. I was visually impaired, but not legally blind.
oh, but you
I
were
could
not
function,
considered
I could
legally blind?
barely drive a car. So I raised 2 kids. I was able to work in a factory and
Wow.
all that. So when I became legally blind, I had some surgery that went bad, and my eye collapsed and filled with blood. And
Mhm.
I thought I would never see the light of day again. And I have some of that come back, but I'm in the category of legally blindness. 10%. I have less than 10 degrees visual field, and my acuity at best is 2200, and glasses will not help. So my struggles with that was just trying to get through life. I use the magnifier a lot. There are a lot of apps out there that help you with read documents and stuff like that. But pretty much for me, I'm okay with the magnifiers, um, just like you, Diana. So um,
I think I need better magnification aids. I have to look into it more or something. But
I
they
got one that's I don't know if you can. This one is a 10x. This one's great for the cell phone. It's just enough to function on the cell phone. And then I have another one that's smaller, which is 20x, and it's real tiny. So those are for the real fine print, and that seems to work well for me.
Mhm.
For the mail, though, when I want to go through mail, I have a much bigger one that my girlfriend found online. It's 20 magnification all the way up between 5 and 20 magnified. It's shaped different, but it's almost the size of your face. You know, I don't know if you remember Romper Room, or those people that are about our age. Romper Room, you know, with that magic mirror, it looks like one of those things. But you get through the day. There's tricks and trades uh, in our field, and this is what this is all about. It's just empathy. If anybody has any suggestions or similar experiences, or what they've learned, I've learned how to cut the grass. You know, I even cut the grass. I struggle with that. But one tip I received from Sam from the Blind Life is the angle of the sun makes a difference. And if the sun is setting in the west, you should start on the west end of your property and go parallel to the sun from the west end, and then eventually move east. The shadow will emphasize the tire marks better, and that helps me out immensely. So that's things like that. So I'm just, trying to gear this all together. This is a sample. Hopefully you clicked on it and enjoy it. Come join us. I believe you want to do this on Sundays, Diana?
I do it on like just once a month on a sun. So I have to figure out what Sunday, but most likely on some Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And by the time I email this to people with a direct link or something like this, I would have the exact date, but it's going to be on a Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. Do you have any questions about me before we wrap it up?
No, because if I did, I would ask it another time, because we need to wrap it up because we need our time limit.
Okay, there you go.
So thank you for being a guest, Paul, from Paul's Blind Soup for the Soul. And we hope that you guys will be interested in this and a monthly live stream that is
absolutely.
Okay, then so I'm
happy thumb dance.
Happy thumb dance. Yes,
you're much better at it.
Please give this video a thumbs up. Yep. And share it out. Yes. Okay, signing off. Okay.